said, well, it's pretty simple. You got to write down goals that are realistic, but you cannot achieve unless you change. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Clayton Eidson. If you've been here before, like and comment. If you haven't, like, comment, and subscribe, because we're dropping some of the best content in the entrepreneur world right here for you. So one of the things I'm going to talk about today with you is goals, writing down your goals. This is something that's kind of personal to me. It's taken me a lot of time to figure this out. I've talked to and listened to a lot of different people in the entrepreneurship world. So Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Eric Thomas, anybody you can think of that's talked about writing goals. And I've been writing my goals down twice a day, every single day. Now, growing up, something that my mom told me all the time was write down your goals. And I always asked the question, why? And she would say to me, well, because you want to know what your goals were. You want to be able to look backwards and see what your goals were. Well, that didn't make any sense to me because I didn't plan on keeping any books and I wrote my goals, and that was just dumb to me. So I started listening to some of the people who've been super successful writing down their goals. Some people say write it down twice a day. Some people say write it down whenever you're discouraged. Some people say write down unrealistic goals. And so I've been doing this for about 3-4 years, and I started to understand what actually worked for me really well. And there's elements and key pieces of what other people do. And then there was a key element that one night when I was going to bed, I was writing down my goals. It just made complete sense. And so when someone asks me, he goes, Clayton, how should I write down my goals? Or how do you write down your goals? Or how do you get to the next step or next stage in life? I said, well, it's pretty simple. You got to write down goals that are realistic, but you cannot achieve unless you change, right? So you have to write down goals that are realistic, but only if you change. Now, people like, Clayton, what are you talking about? So, like, for example, Grant Cardone, perfect example of a guy who writes down his goals completely unrealistic. For me, that doesn't work because I'm like, okay, I'm chasing this unrealistic goal. I don't even know how to get there. What I started doing is writing down a goal like, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to be the #1 trending on YouTube, or I want to own a McLaren. Things that are very possible, but could not be achieved if I just kept my current status of selling health insurance or learning sales or just reading books every day. There was something I had to change. Now, why is that important? When you start to write down goals that you can only achieve once you change, or if you're like getting to the point where you have to change, that is what causes creativity. The only way you're going to get to the next step or next stage in life is if you start being creative, right? So if you're creative, your brain, like you wake up every morning going, I want to make $1 million. 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 You keep saying this over and over and over, your brain's going to find the solution, right? So if you are creative, you will be excited. If you are excited, you will come up with new things and better ways to get things done. So when you're in this process of writing things down, you have to be in a thought process of, okay, what do I want? What's realistic, but not realistic if I just stay on the same path. This is what gets you to the next stage. And so, like, for example, like mine, and I've said this in this video right before this, is, hey, look, I want to own a McLaren. So I write this down every morning. I'm writing it down like, you know, I write more bullet points. I don't write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't write the same thing every day. I write what inspires me. So I write on there, hey, I want to own $1 million. I want to have $1 million at age 30. I want to own a McLaren at 32. And I want to be the #1 trending person on YouTube for business or for self-help or for entrepreneurship, whatever gets me excited that day. Then I go to bed that night and I go, you know what? I want to own a McLaren tonight. I want to own a McLaren at age 28. I'm 27 now. So I start writing that down. I write down what's going to get me excited, to get me up and going for the next day. So 2 parts to writing down your goals. #1, it needs to be realistic, but only achievable if you change, #1. #2 is it's got to be something that you're super excited about. Something that comes to mind and that sparks you instantly and gets you really excited. So it shouldn't be the same goal every time. It shouldn't be, hey, I want to own a McLaren at 32 morning and night, and you write that same goal down for 6 months. Could you do that? Sure. But you're wanting to get excited. If you're excited, you're going to get creative. If you're creative, it's a chain reaction that gets you to achieve exactly what you want. So when you're doing those 2 things, when you take into consideration of realistic goals that will take you to the next stage, and you start writing down things that get you excited, then you're going to hit that. So for me, one day I'm writing, I want to own a jet. The next day I'm writing down, hey, I want to own 3 exotic cars. The next day I'm writing down, hey, I want to own a helicopter. The goal's constantly changing. However, they're realistic goals that if I stay creative and if I keep striving and adding new things to the fire to change what I'm doing to get to the next stage, I'll end up hitting the goal. So when you're writing down goals, the thing that was the most beneficial for me was to write down goals that were extremely realistic but unachievable if I stayed in my own status, if I stayed where I currently was. So if you keep this habit and you keep doing it, you will end up finding that your brain comes up with solutions and you actually get what you want out of life, and you move to the next stage in your life and add things that will continue to build the fire, to build the excitement towards where you're going. That's how you write down goals. That's how I've been writing down my goals every day. That's how I always think of creative ways. One day I'm learning sales. The next day I'm doing door-to-door sales. The day after that I'm doing health insurance. I'm being more of a professional. And the day after that I'm starting to trend on YouTube. Be great. Write down your goals every day. Write down things that get you excited, and write down things that are realistic but unachievable if you currently stay in your own status. Oh, hey there. I didn't notice you. Make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons, and make sure to hit the notification bell, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on more great content that'll make you better in business and in the entrepreneurship world.